Hello, hello. I know nobody's in here, but there's 3 people watching as of right now. Botrix has successfully entered the chat. It's good to see y'all. I hope that you're all having a good day. I was having kind of a crappy day today. Just the world lined up against me. I usually have an intro, but I didn't for today because, hey, Dina, good to see you. Because I'm concerned about using AI stuff, and I don't like my AI intro. I really just don't like it. So I usually do missing children's posters. I need to get those and do those again. I think that is important, and I need to find a different. Thank you. A different intro song. So to start with, we're going to go over this that I just saw on my newsfeed titled 7-Year-Olds Alleged Torturers Send Text About Sadistic Abuse, Prosecutors Say. So let's see. 3 women were charged in the death of 7-year-old Jordan Duncan inside an alleged house of horrors in Bayport, New York. CBS New York's Caroline Gussif reports. Thank you for being here, Dina, Hannah, and Lori Ann, Rhonda, Southern. Good to see y'all. Good to see you. Let me go ahead. I'm gonna play this video, but I do need to put the link from in the vertical chat for the regular live. Y'all, I have got I do not feel good today. I've got the brain fog. I hope I'm not getting sick. So I apologize for my brain moving slowly. All right, let's hear what this is about because I haven't watched it yet. Thought we'd watch it to let a few people get in here if they're, well, that's not what I wanted to do. If they want to. This is from my computer, so it might have ads. I don't know. All right.
Face surrounding the shocking torture death of a Long Island child.
3 women were arrested this week, charged with sadistic abuse that led to the 7-year-old's death. Jordan Duncan had been placed in their home by a court. And today, Caroline Gussif asked Suffolk County lawmakers how that could have happened.
It's a picture-perfect suburban Cape, but prosecutors describe a house of horrors inside where they say 7-year-old Jordan Duncan was tied up in a bathtub and routinely tortured. 3 generations in one family were charged in her death Wednesday in what prosecutors called wicked and evil torture.
3 generations. So that's the grandmother, that's a mother, and that's a daughter, and they all tortured this 7-year-old who was placed in their house. I cannot believe this shit. This is insane.
The cutest little thing that you want to see.
Oh my God.
Never saw any marks on her face.
Neighbors are horrified to learn the details of her December death after Emily Kelly called 911. An autopsy documented 90 injuries, including whip marks and internal stab wounds that caused a fatal infection. Prosecutors say the child missed 40 days of school, and in each case, Kelly...
Sorry, I wanted to say hey to you, Mona Lisa, and hey, Charisma. Good evening. Let me back that up. What the fuck did they just say? Look at that baby. Oh my God. Jesus Christ.
Neighbors are horrified to learn the details of her December death after Emily Kelly called 911. An autopsy documented 90 injuries, including whip marks and internal stab wounds that caused a fatal infection.
90 recent injuries all over her body. The bulk of those injuries were inflicted approximately for something. I need to get this document. I'm going to have to look into this case. She died from an infection of a stab wound. Can you imagine how long it took her to actually pass away? How long she sat there and fucking suffered? I want to know if this child was being fostered or if this is her family. Said 3 generations, and it had the grandmother, the mother, and a mother. So I don't think I'm assuming that this child was not related to them, which pisses me off even more. Crafting and True Crime, Jacqueline, good to see you. I know some videos can't have the volume raised. Oh, you want the volume raised? Let me see if it will. Oh, yep, it's only halfway up. I'm sorry about that. Okay. Sepsis, probably. It's awful. These people deserve to be put under the fucking jail.
Prosecutors say the child missed 40 days of school, and in each case, Kelly provided an excuse, a family trip, or a death or illness. Prosecutors say not only did Kelly subject this child to horrific abuse and torture, but appallingly, she documented it with videos and casual text messages between her and her daughter. You can't hit her face, you got to hit her body if you're going to hit her. That's another thing we've got to hide.
Okay, so now it's reminding me of the Chandra Vander Ark case where they text everybody. She texts Timothy's brother, Paul, I do believe is his name, about what to do to Timothy, putting him in ice baths, the hot sauce. I mean, that child died alone in a fucking closet. This right here, you can't hit her face. You got to hit her body if you're going to hit her. That's another thing we got to hide. So the fact that they're saying they got to hide it from who? Is CPS involved? And if CPS was involved, how the fuck did they not know? Like, and I want to know, is it 40 consecutive days? Because when we looked at this calendar, let me write down this timestamp so we can come right back to it. 122. This is just me thinking out loud. Let's go back to, okay, so it's got these days blacked out. So she went, assuming that the blacked out days are the days that she missed. She went May 5th and then missed like almost, 3 weeks and a day, and then came back. So did the child go to school with the stab wounds and everything that she ended up dying from sepsis from, or what? Like, in this, how did the school not know if she did? This is, I don't understand how people don't know this shit. How do you not see this shit? How is it not known? The school, whoever's looking into it, that they've got to hide this shit from.
That's
My
another
God.
thing we've got to hide.
Shocked about that people could act so savagely.
Suffolk County Executive Ed Romaine says the county's Child Protective Services involvement in the case was minimal.
It's not a
See, every single fucking time CPS is involved, but it's minimal. And they're going to talk about how it wasn't a CPS failure. I mean, to be fair, CPS can't investigate unless there's allegations against the specific issues at hand. Like, for instance, she's missing too much school wouldn't give them the right to necessarily look for bruises and marks and things like that, unless there was obvious signs of that. But still, I wish, it irritates me to know that CPS gets involved in some of these cases and then they end like this. It's horrific. And the child's sitting there suffering and can't say anything. Cindy, good to see you. Julie, good to see you. Half of my chat has just disappeared. I don't know what the hell is going on. What the helly? Anthony Reed, good to see you. From the Republic of Colombia. Nice to meet you. Cindy, it's good to see you, my love.
Minimal.
It's not a failure of CPS, and the child's placement was done by a judge. We will act on any information that comes out that suggests to us that improvements can be made.
The child was placed by...
Well, I hope you do. The child was placed by a judge, but who are these people to this child? Please, God, don't say foster parents.
Court order with Kelly, her incarcerated father's fiance. Kelly's mother and daughter were also charged. Suffolk lawmakers...
Wait a minute. Let's back it up. Not that
And the
far.
child's placement was done by a judge. We will act on any information that comes out that suggests to us that improvements can be made.
The child was placed by court order with Kelly.
Okay, the child was placed by court order with Kelly, her incarcerated father's fiance. Okay, so the woman, Kelly, is dating this child's father who is incarcerated, is what I'm gathering. Okay, she was placed by court order with Kelly, her incarcerated father's fiance. Yeah, so it was like her stepmother. Jesus Christ. Abellis, good to see you. I was hoping I would see you here. Good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. I wonder how the father's dealing with this.
Kelly, her incarcerated father's fiance. Kelly's...
So that woman is the stepmother, and then this is the stepmother. So this is the child's basically step grandmother. And then this one that they're going to show in a minute is going to be the child's stepsister, I believe.
His mother and daughter were also charged. Suffolk lawmakers.
So not necessarily step yet, but they're fiance. So you might as well say that. Hey, Sister Karen, good to see you. Lori, good to see you.
Are calling for a full review.
How was this child placed in the hands of somebody who could be this unfit?
That's what I want to know.
How could school, not see her for 40 days over the course of a year and not ask questions?
Schools are expected to contact CPS when there's repeated unexplained absences combined with warning signs.
The personnel at the school are mandated reporters.
We have no comment at the moment.
Jordan's biological relatives declined comment.
Well, of course they did. I mean, they probably just found out about this and really didn't have a choice in the matter, if I had to assume. Don't bother them. Small memorials flank the front steps, which neighbors say was.
Memorials flank the front steps, which neighbors say was part of a major house renovation since the child died. All three women have entered not guilty pleas. In Bayport, Long Island, Carolyn Gussoff, CBS News, New York.
Well, I'll be seeing what I can find on that. That's very fucking upsetting. Sorry, I didn't mean to cuss. Miss Scorpio Rising has been a member for 10 months. Thank you so much for your continued support. You are amazing, and it's so good to see you. Let me get you an amazing from Basil.
Amazing.
Thank you for sharing that milestone with us. You're so wonderful. Thank you so much for your continued support. Julie, good to see you. Tom, good to see you. I haven't seen you in a minute either. All right. So we're going to talk about Austin Drummond today. Austin Drummond had gotten a change of venue, and I actually have the document that he filed. I'll give you a brief look at that because it's in his handwriting. I know some of you don't know about the Austin Drummond case. I was asked about if I had done anything on it, and I don't know, those of you who have been here for a long time probably remember us going over that case extensively. I think I was one of the first people to talk about it because when I first saw the case, it was a child was abandoned in a Tennessee front yard. And I think we talked about it for like a day or two, and then it finally picked up traction when they had the manhunt for him. So we've done extensive coverage. I need to make a playlist because people were asking. But yeah, this is a document. It was actually filed April 21st, and it is a motion to waive right to counsel and exercise right to self-representation, written in the hand of Austin Drummond. I have no idea what his fucking plan is here, but that is the stupidest thing that you could ever do. I've said it over and over. You always get a lawyer. Don't ever represent yourself because by him submitting this document, he's basically like spitting in the judge's face and the prosecutor and everybody, because when a judge sees a document like this, it is my opinion, and from what I've heard from a lawyer, personally, when you represent yourself, you're basically saying, I have not been to law school. I've not had any extra education, but I think I'm just as smart as you and can do exactly what you went to school for years to learn to do. I think I can do that myself with no education, no experience, no nothing. I'm just going to walk in here and represent myself, even though, y'all went to school for years for it. If that makes any sense. Like I said, my brain fog is just got me in a tizzy today. So hopefully what I just said makes sense. It's like, you don't ever want to do that. I had a lawyer tell me that like probably 17 years ago. Said it's like the worst decision you could ever make. You always want an attorney. The only time that I would say you would be all right without an attorney is like, let's say you got pulled over for driving without a license. And so in between the day you got pulled over and got the ticket and the day you go to court, you actually got your license. If it's something like that, the DA will let you plead guilty to it and you'll just pay like a little fine, or sometimes they'll just throw it out and dismiss it because the ticket was for not having a license and you've gotten your license. That's the only time I would say you don't really have to have an attorney. Abella, it's good to see you. Has been a member for 19 months. So we're home. Yay. Thank you so much for your continued support. It's so good to see you. I have missed you and I have been asked about you. Everybody's been like, where's Abella's? Where's Abella's? It's good to see you. Let me get you an amazing because you're so amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you so much for sharing that milestone with us. He does have neat handwriting. Rosebud, good to see you. So do you think he's going to try to get a deal cut? I mean, this will be a circus with the allegations he's making of those allegedly homicided. I don't know. He might. Depends on what kind of information that he has and what kind of deal he could cut. And I don't know, like trying to represent himself and get some kind of deal, unless he's got really good information, I would say is probably a really bad idea. Unless he's got like solid proof of something that is like really, really big. I don't know. I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't risk it. Even if I had proof, I would get an attorney and I'd say, hey, I have this information. I have this proof. I have this evidence, whatever. Can you get me a deal? Abellis, oh my goodness. Thank you so much for gifting 20 Speculation Station memberships. Thank you so very much. That was so sweet of you. I really appreciate that. You are amazing. I'm going to get you an amazing.
Amazing.
That was so sweet of you. And I will play the Polar Express. I know you love that clip. Thank you so much. That was so sweet of you. I don't know who we shook out the bushes. I'm sure a bunch of people got shook out of the bushes. I'll try to pull it up while we watch the Polar Express. Thank you so much, Abellis. You're so sweet. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. I think I saw Crystal over in the vertical. Crystal, you might be in the vertical, love. I just wanted you to know, but good to see you. Yeah, there you are. Oh, I'm sorry, love. So the people who were gifted was Dina, Crafting and True Crime with Jacqueline, Nolies, Kendra, Elaine Wood, Liz, Established 86, sorry, Sissy Small Sense, Tragedy Pimps Exposed, JC, Beyond the Evidence, JC Arillo, KPMN Mom Times 2, Iced Macchiato, Dusty Pear, Sherry Thompson, Deb Vlogs, Marie Montoya, and CJ, and Babylon, and Sophie Grace. If you guys were gifted from Abellis, please make sure you tell Abellis thank you. Thank you so much, Abellis. I really appreciate that. Yay! I'm so happy. Yep, 2 of the ladies that are actually with us received a membership. Thank you so much. And welcome new members. Thank you, Sister Karen. All right, so we're going to touch on the victims real quick, and then we'll do a timeline. I don't know if we'll read the whole timeline because I know a lot of you know about this case. We might kind of skim through it. I've got quite a few things to talk to you about, and hopefully we'll get through this and maybe can touch on some of the other things that I've been sent. Crystal has been sending me a lot of stuff, and there's a case about Shaylin Harvey, who was 16, lived in Big Chimney, West Virginia, Kewanna County. She went missing May 2nd of 2026. Her stepfather, James Truman, was charged, and her body was allegedly found in his house. So I'd like to talk about that. Hopefully we can get into that tonight. So here are the victims of Austin Drummond's Tennessee quadruple homicide. Their names were Matthew Wilson, Adriana Williams, Courtney Rose, and Braden Williams. They were all relatives of the 7-month-old infant. Okay, so the 7-month-old infant, the baby you see in this picture, let me pull this up. Yeah, okay. I can't zoom in. Okay, so this is the baby that was found in the yard in Tennessee. The temperature was hot. The baby was dropped off. I think it was construction workers or neighbors walking that saw the baby. Pretty much immediately, the baby was saved. This is her father, Matthew Wilson. He was 21 years old. He was homicided. This is the baby's mother, Adriana Williams, who was 20. She was homicided. This is the grandmother, the mother of Courtney Williams. her name is Courtney Rose. I'm sorry. The mother of Adriana Williams' name is Courtney Rose. She was 38. And then we have in the bottom left-hand corner, Braden Williams, who was only 15 years old. Austin claimed at the time that he would have never hurt the baby. He claims that he drove Adriana to the hospital to give birth to the baby. So, very, very sad case. He claims that I can't remember if he said it was an accident or he came up on, I think he's claiming that he came up on the homicide and it had already happened. Now, I don't know what's true or not. It has to do a lot with allegedly snitching, being an informant, working for the FBI because of the things that were going on in the jail. So we're going to go through the timeline when we get to some of these important things. His Facebook's still up. We will touch on that and all of the things that he had in there that he's not supposed to have. There is an article that we're going to talk about too with one of the people who worked with him. And there's a lot of documents on this website that you guys might be interested in. Hey, Boodlebug Mustang, good to see you. Hope Austin is enjoying his green bologna sandwiches. Yeah, I hope so too. Hopefully it's not like Durham County. I swear to God, them things were like neon green and neon blue. It was like they shined in the light. You take the bread off and you go like this, and they would shine in the light. And that cheese was like cardboard. It would not melt. I was like, I think they got in trouble for the shit that they fed the inmates. It was just like not good. And you look outside the window, the jail cell, and people would be out there protesting about how people were being treated in there. Miss King of Anything, good to see you. Queen K, good to see you. So sad. They should have given her to a loving home. Just heartbroken. Yeah, I think she did end up going with, she is with family from her mother's side or her father's side. No, yeah, okay. So the baby is with Matthew's grandparents, if I remember correctly. So the baby is okay. He took the baby out of the car when he committed the homicide of the mother, the father, the grandmother, and the uncle, allegedly. All right, so this is the, okay, hold on, let me tell you about this. This website is called crimetimelines.com, and you can find a lot of cases on here. They also have, no, my headphones are dying because they weren't plugged in. So we're going to kind of talk about this. Austin Drummond, yes. See, this website's amazing. Austin Drummond was dating Courtney's sister, which Courtney is the grandmother. So might help if you have the microphone. So Austin was dating the grandmother's sister. Okay. So this is Courtney. And then there's Courtney's sister. We'll see pictures of her in a minute. Courtney is Braden and Adriana's mom. Adriana's dating Matthew. And then this is the baby that's abandoned. But anyway, on this site, like here, all of these are documents for this case. You can find pretty much everything. And you can see how long and extensive this timeline is. That's why I'm saying I don't know if we'll cover it all today, because I know a lot of you already know about this case. So basic timeline states, on July 29th, authorities began investigating after someone abandoned an infant in a car seat outside of a stranger's home near Old Highway 20 in the Tigeret area. The Dyer County Sheriff's Office said a dark-colored minivan or a white mid-sized SUV dropped off the infant around 3:11 p.m. A witness saw the baby and called 911. Emergency crews responded and evaluated the baby, who appeared to be safe, officials said. The infant was later identified. When referring to the incident days later, authorities said, quote, they, unquote, dropped off the child, seeming to imply that another person may have been with Drummond while the child was abandoned. Wanted to make sure I wasn't muted. Rosebud, yes, Dina, this happened last year, 2025. Let me grab the actual date. Yeah, it says it on there. Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. Sorry. If he survives incarceration until trial, heads are going to roll. I believe he knows things Tennessee detention centers don't want the public to know. I do too. I do too, and we're going to talk about that. This could get really serious, putting Tennessee on the map. Yeah, especially when you talk about the shit that was going on at that prison, and we're going to get there. Okay. Da-da-da-da. Okay. Officials called leaving the infant in the yard a, quote, sign of compassion, unquote, and said that, quote, they, unquote, brought attention to the child before fleeing. Authorities appealed to that, quote, compassion, unquote, hoping to convince Drummond to turn himself in. So, if I remember correctly, when they dropped the infant off in the front yard, they like whistled or yelled, "Hey!" and like pointed at the baby. They went like this and pointed at the baby, and then they took off, making sure that the baby was pretty much seen immediately and wasn't left out there in the heat to die. Authorities later determined the abandoned baby was connected to a crime scene in Lake County, where 4 people were found deceased. Court records for the alleged accomplice of Drummond later revealed that all 4 were found to have gunshot wounds. A district attorney later confirmed the identities of the 4 people found dead. All were family members of the baby who was discovered abandoned in a car seat in a random person's front yard. District Attorney Danny Goodman Jr., who serves both Dyer County and Lake County, said those 4 people were the child's parents, 20-year-old Adriana Williams and 21-year-old Matthew Wilson, the baby's maternal grandmother, 38-year-old Courtney Rose, and the child's maternal uncle, 15-year-old Braden Williams. An in-law of the family later posted on social media saying that Drummond previously dated Rose's sister. Now, you can go back on my page and see the timeline from this time period, because we covered this case, I know, for like a week. There's like at least a week worth of live streams that we did on this case. So because I had started covering it from the time that we found out a baby was abandoned in a front yard. And so you can see how everything happened, how we found out that he might be related to the grandmother, or that he was dating somebody related to the grandmother, and how we, like, the little bits of information that dribbled out or whatever, like how we found out in real time. If you go back far enough, like I said, I need to make a playlist of it. Okay, so the timeline: Tuesday, July 29th, 2025. At 6:10 a.m., James Williams last had contact with his mother. Remember, James Williams is the father. He's also known as Matthew. No. I'm wrong. Why am I wrong? I thought Matthew's first name is something different, but Matthew's last name is Wilson. So let me hush. 6:10 a.m., James Williams last had contact with his mother. 3:10 p.m., a 7-month-old infant is found abandoned in a car seat in the front yard of the Tigard area of Dyer County, prompting a call to deputies. Gracious in the morning. A minute later, 3:11 p.m., the Dyer County Sheriff's Office received a call concerning an incident on Highway 20 near the Tigard area. At 5:10 p.m., investigators have identified the child, and they would like to speak with Courtney Rose, Matthew Wilson, and Adriana Williams. If you have any information as to their whereabouts, please contact Dyer County Sheriff's Office. So at this point in time, they identified the baby and were looking for the grandmother, the father, and the mother, not knowing that they were already deceased. But they had gotten a call about an incident on Old Highway 20. This Old Highway 20, amazingly, is like right by the prison. It's right by the prison that Austin Drummond was in, and it's going to go back to a gang and the shit that they were doing. They were flying drones over the yard and dropping drugs and all kinds of shit. Where the bodies were found is like right there, right where they would go to fly the drone over the fence into the prison yard and drop stuff at night. Oh my goodness, Abellis, thank you for gifting 10 more memberships. That's a total of 30 memberships. Goodness gracious. I know I got something. I don't know. I don't think I have anything positive. What can I play to make you guys laugh? Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. I really, really appreciate that. I don't have anything funny. I got to get some funny. Okay. So let me give you an amazing from Basil. I'll grab the crazy train this time. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. That was so very sweet and supportive of you. Scratch the Paint, Miss Sarah and Earthy. It's good to see y'all. Those memberships went to Scratch the Paint, Rhonda, Dale Gray Webb, Princess Pillow, Susan Nelson, JJ, Steph, Stony Stone, Gretlandrew, and Honey Badger. Oh, Honey Badger. Gracious. If you guys were gifted from Abellis and you are aware you're gifted, please tell Abellis thank you, because she's freaking amazing.
Amazing.
Thank you so much, Abellis. That was so very sweet of you. Cindy said, congratulations, all new gifted members. Please thank Abellis for her kindness. Yes, thank you. Thank you so much for saying that, Miss Cindy. Gold Girl, good to see you. Oh, yeah, of course. I know some of you had asked me about it, so I wanted to talk about it. All right. Jenny, is Jenny Jen here? Look at Jenny Jen, A1 from day one. Hey, good to see you. Good to see you. JJ asked for an amazing. Oh, let me give her two. Tell JJ we said hi.
Amazing. Amazing.
I need to go get Basil. He's in there laid out. He goes outside a lot now, and I let him run around, and he comes in and lays out, and his back legs are just sticking out. It's the most adorable thing. I let him come in the room yesterday, and he ran around on the bed for 20 minutes, just running around in circles. He was so happy. Rosebud, unalive. Oh, I forget. How did anybody come across the unalive bodies? You called that in. Good question. Okay, so if I remember correctly, a deputy that was off duty came across it, or doing security. But I can't remember if they got a call to go out there or what exactly happened. Southern Cats, good to see you. I don't know if I said hey to you, love. And the classic one, good to see you. All right, continuing. What did I? Okay, yeah. So the incident on Old Highway 20 was near, like, right by the prison yard, and that's where the 4 bodies are. That happened at 3:11 p.m. At 5:10 p.m., they're not aware that the incident that they got called in is the deceased bodies of Courtney Rose, Matthew Wilson, Adriana Williams, and Braden Williams. They're just aware that it's a quadruple homicide. They have not identified the bodies yet. It is not until later that they find out that the incident on Highway 420, or Highway 420, you know where my mind's at, on Highway 20 is related to the abandoned infant. All right, 10:26. Dyer County received a 911 call reporting that Rose and her daughter were missing. The caller stated they were actively searching around a home with a flashlight. I remember hearing something about that, but I can't remember exactly what the story was. At 10:30, 4 victims are discovered dead along Carrington Road in Tiptonville. Okay, so, but the incident, I thought the incident was called in 311. Let me just hush and just read this to y'all. So the 4 victims are discovered dead along Carrington Road in Tiptonville, and that's why it took them a minute to realize that it was them, because this is in Tiptonville, which is Lake County, and then this is Tigeret, which is Dyer County. So it's 2 separate counties. At this point, a joint investigation between Dyer County and Lake County offices is initiated. TBI and FBI are called in because it's a quadruple homicide. Wednesday, July 30th of 2025, the victims are officially identified as James Matthew Wilson, Adriana Williams, Courtney Rose, Braden Williams, confirming familial ties to the baby, parents, grandmother, and uncle. Thursday, July 31st of 2025, the TBI names Austin Drummond, 28, as the suspect. Officials note his previous relationship with the victims, and the investigation intensifies. TBI agents obtain warrant for Austin Drummond. His date of birth is August 31st, 1996, charging him with 4 counts of first-degree homicide, 1 count of aggravated kidnapping, 4 counts of felon in possession of a firearm, 1 count of possession of a firearm during the commission of a dangerous felony. And at this time, Drummond remains at large and should be considered armed and dangerous. Anyone with information concerning his whereabouts asked to call the number. At 2:22 p.m., Tennessee's most wanted alert, Austin Drummond, and it gives his information. His aliases were Austin Drummond, Austin R. Drummond, and Robert Drummond. Date of birth is he goes by, okay, his date of birth, he enters, like, I guess on some reports it was August 3rd, and then some are August 31st of 1996. He was born in Rhode Island, 5'10", 200 pounds. He has blue eyes and brown hair. He is white. He is male. Austin Drummond is wanted by the TBI, 4 counts of first-degree homicide. We just, read that. A reward of up to $2,500 was offered for information leading to his arrest, and he's driving a white Audi A3 2016. That car, which was believed to be driven by Drummond, is recovered in North Jackson. So Friday, August 1st of 2025, a $15,000 combined reward is announced. Saturday, 2 vehicles tied to the case are found. The previously mentioned Audi and a 1988 white Ford pickup with a red stripe in Dyer County. This white Ford pickup belonged to Matthew, I do believe. Investigation revealed that Drummond's associate, Giovanni Thomas, who was also born in 1996, assisted Drummond. Saturday, agents obtained warrants charging Thomas with accessory after the fact to first-degree homicide. Thomas was already being held at the Madison County Jail on an unrelated charge for failure to appear. He would be transferred to the Lake County Jail to be arraigned on the new charges. Tanaka Brown and Giovanni Thomas are arrested in Jackson and charged with accessory after the fact, and then Brown also faces evidence tampering charges. The reward is raised to $17,500. Sunday, August 3rd of 2025 at 11:20 p.m., a confirmed sighting of Drummond is captured on a residence surveillance camera in the 700 block of Pitkin Road in Jackson. I have that video. We're going to look at it. He's seen wearing full camouflage, carrying a brown backpack, and armed with a black rifle. Law enforcement requests video from nearby areas: Pitkin Road, Pleasant Plains Road, Oil Well Road, and Country Club Lane. There's so many country club lanes. Like, there's one in every freaking area. Okay, so this is the surveillance footage. Stop playing with my emotions. I'll do it this way then. You want to be difficult. So he tries to enter this building. He cannot. There's the brown book bag, full camouflage, and the big ass rifle that he is carrying. Oh, I was like, you can't see it. Edith, good to see you. Abraham, good to see you. Oh my gosh. Sorry if y'all heard that. My neck was hurting. Abraham, I didn't know you were a mod for, I think somebody said you were a mod for Down the Rabbit Hole. And I was in a chat with Chico, and she was like, Abraham is your mod, or talking to somebody. Abraham's allegedly his mod. I can't believe that. I was like, yes, Abraham's freaking awesome. Doing a good job out there. Doing good work. Yeah. It really is stupid. Like, with all the shit that he did. What's going on with Edith? Edith. My daughter is 4 months pregnant with a girl and doing great. She named her middle name after me, and I'm so excited. Oh my goodness. That's so awesome. I'm super excited for you. What a blessing. Is that going to be your first grandbaby? I'm going to get you an amazing. That's so amazing. I'm so happy for you. Congratulations, Edith.
Amazing.
Such exciting news. No, you're a mod for me only? Okay. Maybe I misunderstood. A lot of people seem to like you, though. Maybe they've got you confused, but you're an awesome person. I think they were talking about you, saying that they like you. Do you know Chica? Chica. I'm reading this Pika, not Chica. Chico. It was Peekaboo who saw me in your chat. Was it? Okay, so you know Peekaboo, you know Chico, and all of them, they were talking good about you. I was like, Abraham's so amazing. So smart. Okay. So again, this is the footage of Austin. This is from August 3rd, 2025. There is another shot where you see a white Jeep parked in the distance.
Every time by Austrian filmmaker Sandra Wollner.
Oh my goodness. I don't need to know. Dude. Okay. So that was the footage of that. There is a also a video with a white Jeep, and it's the female co-conspirator that drives the white Jeep that you see in the background, and it's the same night, I do believe. Oh my gosh, I just coughed and it was really loud. I'm so glad I muted. It was the woman, Tanaka Brown, I think is her name. What am I doing? No. It was the woman, Tanaka Brown, and I think it's her Jeep. That is, you find out later, that's the Jeep that was in the video. Anyways. All right. So now we're on to Monday, August 4th. Dara Sanders, I think that's her name. I apologize. Dara Sanders, 23, is arrested and charged with accessory after the fact to first-degree homicide in relation to Drummond's evasion efforts. Yep, that's exactly what I was talking about. So it's Dara Sanders' white Jeep you can see in the background. And we spent time trying to figure out what kind of Jeep it was, who drove it. The police had arrested Dara Sanders for helping him evade police. And that's because you can see her Jeep in the background. A federal complaint is filed by U.S. Marshal, and it indicates that Drummond may have crossed state lines, manhunt widened to nationally. So I remember this. We went over the document. They thought that he was in Florida because when he was a teenager, he had fled to Florida and had family in Florida, but it ended up that he was not in Florida. The reward increased to $30,000, now $32,500, including contribution from TBI's marshals, the governor office, and Crime Stoppers. At 11 a.m., another possible sighting of Drummond has been reported. Highway Patrol, TBI, Jackson Police have been staged for further investigation, searching the area. At 12:40, SWAT left that area. At 4:03, police asked the citizen in the area to review their camera footage. At 6:57, they released an update on a confirmed sighting, and that it was captured on a citizen's camera in the 700 block of Pitkin Road late that night. He's considered armed and dangerous. 8:28, City of Jackson PD released video footage of Drummond, and that's the video footage we just saw, I do believe. At 8:29, City of Jackson PD released the footage of Drummond, and since it's only a minute later, I think it's the same video. Late that night, Austin Drummond hides inside a vacant pool house behind a Jackson, Tennessee home. I remember that. I wish they had the source to that. Let me see if I can pull up a picture of that. Yeah, you ought to see him. He's got like beer and all kinds of things. That's where they capture him at. So Austin Drummond was hiding in a pool house during his time on the run. He spent part of that time in a vacant pool house outside of a Jackson home before being captured by authorities. Yes, here we go. This is that.
As I came up to the pool house, I sensed something was off, and that's when I encountered the suspect.
New tonight, a story you'll see.
It's inside of there that he hides out.
Only on Fox 13. We hear from the man who found an accused mass murderer in his hiding place.
Hey, Peekaboo. Good to see you. I hope you're having a good day.
Take you inside. Thank you for being with us.
Oh my God, you could tell he was
I'm
tired
Darcy
of running.
Thomas. Austin Drummond is due in court tomorrow morning to face 4 counts of murder and other charges. But tonight, Fox 13 takes you exclusively inside of the pool house where the accused killer hid during this.
Look, I would live in there. I would pay rent to stay there, like a cheap amount. You know, I mean, you know, I'm in your extra little pool house, but that's a nice looking little area. Yeah, it is definitely luxury.
Week-long search.
Fox 13's Martin Staunton is live in Jackson, Tennessee again tonight. Martin, you talk.
I'm going to jump back for a second. So you see this door open right here? That area in there is where he's hiding, and he had beer and all kinds of shit in there. Phones. But for him, see, I think the other part of the problem here with this case in particular, and you'll see when we talk about his Facebook, is even though he was in prison, he was living like, you know, Yeah, like a grounded teenager almost. I mean, you know, he had phones. I think there was like three: a Nintendo Switch, a handheld PlayStation, a fucking projector, getting fast food, pizza, all kinds of shit because Courtney Rose's sister, the girl he was dating, was a CO and he was allegedly a confidential informant. I mean, if jail is not much worse than your life on the outside, then, you know, that's a fucking problem. It's supposed to be a lot worse. I think he's really suffering this time. I hope.
Daryl, that man tells Fox 13 that he was just following his morning routine when he went to the pool house. It's located on a 9-acre estate on this road in an upscale neighborhood in Jackson.
Oh my goodness.
And that man says that's when he found himself face to face with Austin Drummond.
Came out from the inside of the pool house where he.
Abraham, happy birthday. I know it's a little bit late, and I didn't catch you on Tuesday, but that's amazing. I hope your day was as special as you are. I really do. And happy belated birthday. I really hope that you had the best day ever. You really deserve it because you're an awesome person.
He had apparently been hiding out and had either a rifle or a shotgun, and he pointed that at me. He yelled and pointed that at me.
Due to Drummond's alleged gang affiliation, this man asked us not to.
These are pictures from when he was in prison, and as you can see there, he's holding a bottle of Ciroc.
Show his face or share his name, but he is sharing what happened as he stared down the barrel of a rifle Tuesday morning with an accused murderer's finger on the trigger.
He ran toward me at first, which really made me
you deserve it for
take
that.
Off.
Congratulations.
And he had the gun, so I
My
felt
birthday's
like
in
I
September
could
too.
get away from him if he didn't shoot. But I ran through the woods into the middle of Pleasant Plains and flagged someone down.
So cute.
And used their emergency phone and called 911 from there.
He says before finding Drummond, he was aware of the manhunt and just how dangerous investigators say Drummond is. He says he thanks God he lived to tell the story.
I do.
And I mean, keep in mind that this man is on the run. The whole fucking everybody's looking for him. FBI, TBI, the fucking state officials and all of that is looking for him. And he's committed a quadruple homicide. You know, so you have no idea what this guy's going to do. We had documents from his before he was even 18 where he had so many interactions with law enforcement.
You feel blessed.
It doesn't surprise me he was afraid for his life.
That I can, because he could have easily.
This picture is taken just a few moments later as he's walking through the woods, the path, but it like these are houses and like the woods and stuff of that area, of that subdivision. This was a few moments later when they called him, maybe an hour, 30 minutes to an hour later. And you find out that his family, his parents live in that neighborhood. So it seems like he might have went by his parents' house.
You know, he had two guns right there loaded. I just he and I back here. He could have killed me, and I can't thank God enough for making it.
He adds, there's a singular sense of dignity he will now carry, knowing he helped in the capture of a man accused of the murders of 4 people.
I feel super blessed myself from surviving that, but my heart goes out to the families that are all, it's a terrible, tragic thing, and I'm so glad for the people that got him into custody.
And
I think it was actually, it might have even been the pool boy. It was somebody, a landscaper or the pool boy who got the reward money, which made my heart a little happy. It was somebody that was working in the area that actually got the money because he was the reason that Austin was located, the reward money. And it made my heart smile a little bit that, you know, the everyday working guy got the money.
Still ahead at 6,
life.
We're going to take a look, an exclusive look at just how Austin Drummond was living, and you're going to have to see it to believe it. That's coming up in about an hour. Darcy.
So that's a little bit more on that. There is a picture. We're going to go back to the timeline for now, though it's not relative. I mean, it's not extremely important. So he's still at large. Okay. So on August 5th at 2025, the home's caretaker approaches the pool house. As I came up to the pool house, I sent something off. That's when I encountered him. He came from the inside of the pool house where he had apparently been hiding, and he had either a rifle or shotgun pointed at me and yelled. It talks about what we just saw. Austin Drummond is now in law enforcement custody as of 9:15, so an hour later. Celebration of life for James Matthew Wilson was had at 2 p.m. August 7th at 8:15, Austin appeared in court. Judge ordered no bond. Judge Andrew Cook entered not guilty plea on behalf of Drummond due to Drummond not having an attorney, and they had to like get somebody else to represent him because it is a capital case. Dara Sanders appeared in court. Judge ordered no bond, and Brandon Powell is charged with conspiring with Austin Drummond to introduce contraband into a penal facility via drone. He is currently in the access of hiring an attorney. The state has suggested a $75,000 bond for his release. His case has been continued to Monday, August 11th, and he has a separate hold in Crockett County, Tennessee, and will face charges there as well. Now, what a separate hold means is if he bonds out on this charge, which is $75,000, which means he'd need 10% of that would be $7,500 to bond on that. So if somebody went and put up $7,500 to bond Brandon Powell out of jail, he wouldn't leave jail. He would go to Crockett County and be held on the charges that he faced there, and he would have to bond on that too. Then he would be out. There is a video, and it's important to talk about that. And it talks about Brandon Powell and what he's originally charged for, and it makes you kind of understand exactly what they were doing in the prison yard. So let me try to pull that up. It's from WBBJ. I think that's how I kept pulling it up. Brandon Powell, drugs in Lake County prison yard. I got a video, but I'm not pulling it up. Let me show you guys what I'm looking at so it's not just... All right, let's go to the WBBJ website. Let's search drone prison yard. It would have been 2025. These are all 2026. Good gracious. I mean, these are still May of 2026. I can't sit here and flip all the way back a year. Yeah. Let's try Brandon Powell. All right, I don't know where it's at. We spent enough time looking for it. It's on those live streams that I went over because we talked about that at length. So what they were doing, I can tell you because we talked about it so much. Brandon Powell gets busted in a car driving. The police pull him over. He's got a backpack. He's got drugs in the car. I think it was like they found a pound of weed, some pills, a bunch of PlayStation 4, like a couple of PlayStation 4 handheld devices, some Nintendo Switches, and a bunch of cash. And they find these drones. And the drones have lights, but they have electrical tape over the lights. And they're like, what the fuck? And so they find out that Brandon Powell and this person that was in the car with him that ran when the police pulled them over were using these drones to fly across the prison yard at night, and they would drop weed or pills or the fucking Nintendo or whatever in the prison yard at night. And then when the people in prison came out on the yard in the morning, they would go and pick up whatever had been dropped at night by the drone. This is important because it's one part of this gang. I don't think it was Latin Kings. It might have been Latin Kings, but it's Kings, something Kings. It's part of that and that group. And it's also, just lost my train of thought. I told y'all, brain fog. It's what Austin was doing. It shows like there's no way that the COs didn't know about it. Hopefully I'll remember exactly what I was trying to say. And we can talk about that and how long it might have been going on. So to do that, let's go to Facebook real quick. And I'm going to show you his Facebook. Because once we found out that they were flying the drones, we figured out how Austin had all this shit that he had in jail. We need people. Okay, so this is Austin Drummond's profile, okay? This is Courtney Rose's sister. She was also a correction officer at the prison that Austin was incarcerated at. This is right after he gets out of prison, or not long afterwards. They go and do things for Christmas. They go to a game. They're staying in a hotel. It looks like Nashville, possibly, or Gatlin, Tennessee. It's what we just saw on the side. And allegedly, she was pregnant at the time with his son. Now, he does ask at court to, oh, Jesus. You can't see anything, can you? I don't know why I didn't pull it up. I shared it, but because I'm in the middle, you couldn't see it. Might help if you could fucking see it. Lord, in the morning. Can't fix stupid, and that's what I'm being right now. All right, so these, I'll show you his sister again. This is a video, or the grandmother's sister that he's dating. She was allegedly pregnant. When they go to court, he asked for his attorney to ask if he can talk to her because she's pregnant and that's his baby mama. This is the Gatlin, Tennessee. This is after he got out of prison. This is Speed, Caitlin Speed. Caitlin Speed is the sister of Courtney Rose. Courtney Rose is the grandmother of the infant. Courtney Rose died, as did her daughter, Adriana Williams, Matthew Wilson, the baby's father, and Braden Williams, the baby's baby's uncle. So, if that makes sense, I'll show you that thing that shows you kind of the spider web thing. So here they are again. She's a CO, but she gets fired like shortly after he gets out. And I don't remember if it's because she didn't show up to work or because, obviously it's probably because she's dating him and he just got released. All right, I'm not going to continue to show, the family and stuff. I always thought this picture was interesting though. Like, how fucking old are you to be flipping off people on the fucking... Okay, anyway, let's go down to the, this is right when he gets out of prison, okay, like a week. First week out, September 7th of 2024. So these are the years he was in prison. And let me not make it real big. I want to show you this picture. This is Braden, the one we were just talking about, Brandon Powell, I do believe it's his name. We went over videos of him that he had on Facebook. That's his really good friend. All right, so here starts the pictures of him when he was in prison. This one's from November 18th of 2023. Obviously, he has access to Facebook because he's posting the pictures on Facebook from prison. How do we know this is prison? Well, you see this bed, how it's all metal? That's a bunk bed in a prison. You see how this stuff is hanging on a line like this in this mesh bag? That's what you get when you're in jail. Prison would be the same. And this is the door to their cell. They got this towel hanging up to hide people like from being able to see inside so that they can hide this Ciroc. Though I don't think they had to hide it much. He does have the Tennessee Department of Corrections pants on. There's a beanie. I don't know that them. I mean, it looks like they have a lot of shoes. Some prisons will let you have regular shoes. I've not been to prison. I've been to jail, but not prison. You can see all this food behind him. I think he was running a store in there. Sometimes if like, let's say I go to jail and my parents, or not my parents, but you know, people on the outside aren't sending me money. But I can get, maybe I work in the kitchen and I can get extra cakes. So I might get extra cakes and trade my cakes that I can get to somebody like Austin. Austin would then give me whatever I want that's in his little store. Shit. That's in his little store, like noodles, whatever. Most of the time it would be, you would have to pay a lot more to the person than you do off of canteen, depending. Sometimes they might just hook you up, but it's like a barter system. Hey, Cat's Eye, I saw that you just came in. Let me pull this back up. I accidentally hit the X. Too many tabs. Yeah, Gold Girl, he was living large in prison. Hey, Hio, good to see you. I'm so glad you're here. All right. This is a video that he made and uploaded while in prison, showing that he has a Nintendo Switch and he's playing Grand Theft Auto on the prison TV. He just thinks he's the shit. There's another video from in prison.
Fine. You gotta learn how to relax, my man.
He's showing you that that's a projector by holding his fingers in front of it. So he's got a projector in prison. Here in this picture, you can see there's a cell phone there. I think that's the PlayStation 4 game, and they would talk to each other through a game. This is the Roku remote. So he's got a fucking Roku. There's the Roku box and watching TV. I don't know if Roku's is something they're allowed to have in there. This is a clear TV. So I don't know. I guess they get clear. I know you can buy like clear TVs and clear radios on Canteen from what I've heard, but I don't know about the Roku and stuff. I don't know how all that works. This right here looks like a fucking ashtray made out of a can. Like, that's extremely dangerous. If a CO walked in and saw that, you could easily make some kind of weapon out of a tin can that would cut the fuck out of somebody. And he's got a case of Pepsis here. So he's getting canned Pepsi somehow. That's not, you don't do that. Look at him trying to look cute for all the ladies out there. He's got headphones in his ear, the earbuds. I don't know. I know they offer earbuds on Canteen, but I think they're wired. I don't think they're Bluetooth. I mean, but I don't know. See, he's got wired ones too. So if I had to guess, I would say that the Bluetooth ones are probably ones that he somehow snuck in there. All right. Forrest Nelson, are you here? Forrest Nelson is here. Good to see you. Thank you for being here. Oh, cheers to you, Abraham. I hope you enjoyed that glass of whiskey. Here he is again doing work for the prison. I mean, but, you know, you can tell that he just had way too much shit. Here he appears to be in an area where there's a refrigerator, but I think this is like where the staff goes, like the break room. And there's a cart. I don't think that's the regular area where they make where they make the food for the facility, because like for the prisoners, because the refrigerator would be like probably a walk-in refrigerator. It would be a much larger area. That to me looks like a break room for the COs. And he would be able to have access to that if he's dating the CO, which was Caitlin Speed. More pictures of him trying to look cute on Facebook. See, there's his two fucking phones. I got 2 phones, one for the plug. I don't know that song. I've heard it like 2 times. He wants you to know he has 2 phones. See, there he get 2 phones because I'm the shit. Just not living life like a normal prisoner would. Here he's got pizza, Hunt's Brothers Pizza. Now, when we did the see, you're not supposed to be able to get that. This in the tray, when we talk about Stephen Stearns and the Fresh Fit meals or whatever, this could be that. So sometimes like they offer these meals once a week and they're like $25 or $30 a plate, and you get a plate like that and it's got like, you know, fried chicken, fries, shit. You order it, it comes, you know, but they're expensive as fuck. And this one's got baked chicken. It's probably from a gas station though, if I had to guess. Shit looks good, and like you make a lot of fucking money on shit like that in there. Now this is a jail pizza, I do believe, because that's the summer sausage they cut up. It looks like it's got some chicken on a tortilla, so that might be, you know, cooking in the jail food off of the canteen, but still. And here he's showing off his store, all the shit he's got stacked up to eat. The Buccaneers, I don't know, like I guess that's 3D printed or something, but you're not supposed to have that in there either because, you know, showing that you go for a team could get your ass whooped by somebody who opposes that team. All right, I think we spent enough time on his Facebook. Forrest has been a member for 6 months. Thank you so much for sharing your milestone with us, and thank you so much for the continued support. Forrest said, subscribe, hit the like, share if you can, and chat and comment. It all helps, and it's all free to do. It absolutely is, and it absolutely does. Thank you so much, Forrest Nelson. You are amazing.
Amazing.
So good to see you. Yeah, Bill's old prison wheels. Okay. So, the judge ruled in favor of the state, determining that Drummond committed attempted burglary and he unlawfully possessed firearms as a convicted felon. Oh, hold on. I'm sorry. We skipped a whole part and I got a cough. Yeah, that one pizza didn't. The first pizza did, the Hunt Brothers Pizza, but the second one didn't. But that's jail food. You know, you just try to make the best out of the shit you can order on Canteen and put together. All right, so August 14th of 2025 at 9 a.m., Drummond's next court appearance will likely be in Lake County Circuit Court. 11 days later, there's a court hearing and a bond revocation for prior charges. The bond review hearing regarding charges Austin Drummond faced before July 29th, quadruple homicide in Lake County, outcome bond revoked, no new bail was set. So that was for where he was on probation or something. And he was going to stay on probation. It's like, it was a lot of shit. He was out on probation or something, bond or something for another charge when he committed the quadruple homicide. So it was for that case, the case where he was on probation or whatever before he committed the homicides. That's what that hearing was about. On September 2nd, they returned indictments. September 4th, the judge found probable cause for first-degree homicide of all 4 victims, aggravated kidnapping, possession of a firearm with intent to go armed during a dangerous felony. Charges were not bound over. The case was set for circuit court on September 17th of 2025 at 1 p.m. A preliminary hearing was held. October 27th, a Lake County judge ruled Austin Drummond should be transferred from local jail custody to the Tennessee Department of Corrections while awaiting trial. Judge determined that Lake County Jail lacked staffing and security conditions necessary to safely house Drummond. Now, this had to do with Drummond saying that he was a confidential informant and he needed to be moved to protect himself. And I think it was from the Lake County Jail to the Tennessee Department of Corrections, but I can't remember if he was trying to be protected from the Tennessee Department of Corrections or the Lake County Jail, but he was moved. They said Drummond had been temporarily housed at the Obion County Jail, but that facility also reported serious security and resource concerns, including they were overburdened trying to keep him safe. He smeared feces on his cell window, creating a safety hazard. And during a strip search, oh my gosh, during a strip search, officers found 39 Suboxone tablets on Drummond. I would love to know where they found it. There's only 2 places. So November 10th, grand jury indicted Austin Drummond for the murders. They argued that he lured 4 family members of his girlfriend, Caitlin Speed, to a location in Lake County and committed the homicide. Officers testified that they found the bodies. Authorities believe Drummond took the baby of Wilson and Williams and stole a truck belonging to Matthew. They later found the baby. And they filed notice to seek the death penalty. And then there's some more occurrences in court. The next court appearance was set for November 17th of 2025. These are the victims. Again, Austin Drummond is right here. Courtney's sister, Caitlin Speed, was his girlfriend that we just saw on the Facebook. Caitlin Speed is the sister of Courtney Rose. Courtney Rose is the grandmother of Adriana Williams. Adriana Williams is dating Matthew Wilson, and they have a baby together. Adrian also has a brother named Braden. Austin committed the homicide of Matthew, Adrian, Braden, and Courtney. Courtney's sister, Caitlin Speed, who's dating Austin, is allegedly pregnant, and the baby is kept safe. There's some of the locations where he is found. There's July 29th, the victims are found on Carrington Road. This is important because this shows what I was talking about earlier. So the victims are found right here where this arrow ends, where my mouse is pointing at right now. And then just a little bit over is the Northwest Correctional Facility where Drummond served time. The Northwest Correctional Facility is also where they were flying drones over the prison yard and dropping the drugs and all these stuff like you saw that he had. So it appears like they were killed because they saw something there, because they knew something there, because, you know, they weren't supposed to see what was going on with that. So that's been a big question in all of this. So this is all the preliminary timeline. The vehicle timeline for that day that said he was there, 6:27, there's footage of their vehicles driving back and forth to Bikini Bottoms. You see like some of the victims going out toward Bikini Bottoms, and then you see Austin driving one of the vehicles back from Bikini Bottoms. There's some of the documents. Like I said, I'm not going to read through this. I do want to tell you guys a little bit about his early life and family background, Austin Drummond's. So he was born in Rhode Island, but raised most of his life in Jackson, Tennessee. Prior to his juvenile arrest, he lived at the family home at 6 Litchburg Cove, Jackson, with his parents and twin siblings. The father was employed as an exterminator. The mother was a homemaker, not employed outside of the home. He had a twin brother and a twin brother and sister who were both students at the local high school. His juvenile record and early offenses began offending at age 12 while shoplifting. And that was, he shoplifted some deodorant or something at a Walgreens, if I remember correctly. There was multiple arrests during adolescence for burglary attempts, drug possession, assaults, and theft. He frequently ran away from home in juvenile facilities, and he displayed assaultive and defiant behavior. He was committed to the Tennessee Department of Children's Services in 2013 after repeated failed placements. Yep. So here it is. Age 12, he shoplifted Axe deodorant, Axe body scrub, and a laser light from Walgreens. He paid $5.99 in restitution. At age 14, he hit the window of a high school concession stand. He tried to flee, but he was found on the roof. He got 24 hours of community service. February 16th, 2012, I'm assuming still 14, cut the screen of a window and left while under house arrest. He was arrested with a weed grinder in his pocket, and he got a possession of drug paraphernalia. March 1st, 2012, 15, juvenile officer petitioned court citing repeated violations of ankle monitor restrictions. 86 to a youth challenge program. July 16th of 2012, he broke into a Kroger cash box, stole $300 and left. August 20th, he assaulted his brother by choking him. They later found him at a storage unit. March 12th, 2013, he burglarized vehicles with another male. He was caught in the woods, charged with resisting to stop, halt, and frisk. March 31st, 2013, a restaurant employee reported him for smoking marijuana. Police found him hiding in a dumpster. I mean, and it just goes on and on. A lot of those, I mean, you can just see it starts in 2009 and then ends in 2025 with a quadruple homicide. All right, so let's go to now. Yeah, Axe body spray and fucking body scrub. And I'm sure if he'd have asked, his parents would have bought him. But, you know, for some people, it's the thrill. Okay. So we will go ahead and read over his handwriting, his handwritten letter to the judge, asking to represent himself. I don't think that they have made a judgment on this yet. It's just been entered. I don't think they've said anything as far as what's going to happen. All right. Tom said that explains it. He needed deodorant because he hides in dumpsters. Hey, you know what? Yeah. He needed to scrub his arse after hiding in dumpsters. Let me stop being mean. Peekaboo said, I mean, damn, dude is a parent. Dude, it's a parent. You're not good at hiding from police, so just stop doing crap that's illegal. I'm just saying. I mean, you know. I thought right away a weed whacker. I love watching shoplifting videos. People are so dumb and hilarious. It is funny to see some of that shit. It's like, really? You really just thought that I didn't see that? Come on now. All right, this document reads, in the circuit court of Lake County for the 29th Judicial District at Tiptonville. So he wrote it out like an actual court document, which is interesting. The state of Tennessee is the plaintiff versus Austin Drummond as the defendant. Docket number 25 CR 11185. It was filed in the Lake County Court on April 21st of 2026 by Jessica Avery. This is his motion to waive right to counsel and exercise right to self-representation. And Austin Drummond himself wrote, comes now defendant Austin Drummond by pro se to move this honorable court to remove Brian R. Huffman as counsel and allow defendant to proceed pro se. In support, defendant states as follows. 1. During the preliminary proceedings in this case, defendant asked for the 14-day rule not to be waived. Brian R. Huffman disregarded defendant's wishes and waived the 14-day rule. The 14-day rule, I do believe, let's look that up before we continue. I think that's like saying that you have to have shit, like you have to go to court within 14 days. And it would only make sense that he would waive that rule because he needs time to prepare for the fucking case. 14-day rule, Tennessee. In Tennessee, the 14-day rule applies to certain eviction and termination of notices. Okay. No. Repeat violation. If the same breach reoccurs 6 months. No. Criminal activity. A 3-day notice is required for violent or drug-related activity creating imminent danger. What it means. 14-day rule, Tennessee. Let's try homicide. Because I'm not trying to find out about rent. When a homicide case is filed, the 14-day period begins when the defendant is arrested and the indictment or presentment is returned. If the defendant remains in custody, the court must set a preliminary hearing within that 14-day window unless the defendant waives the right to a jury trial and prosecution by indictment or presentment. If the defendant is released, 14-day period still applies from the date of appearance before the magistrate. The rule ensures that defendants are not detained indefinitely without a trial date, protecting against prolonged pretrial detention and ensuring timely access to judicial process. So he wanted the date of the preliminary hearing set within 14 days. And because this case is so extensive, I mean, you've got a quadruple fucking homicide. He knows the family personally and was dating the grandmother's sister. He's claiming to be a confidential informant. It's only logical that you would waive that rule as an attorney trying to represent your client and get them a fair trial. Continuing, number 2, during the preliminary hearing, Brian R. Huffman failed to object to hearsay and did not ask questions requested by the defendant concerning motive. So he was already trying to be his own attorney there. There's a reason why he didn't do that. Number 3, Brian Huffman agreed to a gag order without defendant's consent. The reason that that's bothering him is because he wants this out in the media. He even called the news station, and we had leaked phone calls from the news station from Austin Drummond saying how he was a confidential informant and that they were going to try to kill him, and this needed to be out. I think it was somebody on TikTok who released that, if I remember correctly. Hey, Crystal. Yeah, he was snitching. I don't think he'll ever get anything less than life in prison, but I think he's facing the death penalty. When they were in middle and high school, he used to bathe in that. Oh, yeah, the damn axe shit. Oh, my God, it was so strong. All right, number 4, Brian Huffman agreed to a protective order without the defendant's consent. Number 5, in August of 2025, the defendant, Austin, requested his phone records be subpoenaed. He made no attempt until 2026. Well, Brian Huffman is a lawyer who has other cases. Like, okay. In November of 2025, Austin gave Brian Huffman valuable information to pass on to investigators in his case. This information was not passed to the investigators until March of 2026. Brian Huffman told defendant he would address issues with the court on March 24th of 2026. He did not address those issues. Brian Huffman has repeatedly pushed court dates off to later dates against the wishes of the defendant, who has adamantly expressed his desire for a speedy trial. Right, but you're talking about a quadruple homicide, so it's in your best interest not to have a speedy trial. But I think he's afraid of being in jail. Number 9, both the United States and Tennessee constitutions guarantee the right of an accused to self-representation. 10, defendant is making this waiver knowingly, voluntarily, and intelligently. Wherefore, defendant prays this motion be granted and respectfully requests the court reasonably consider any reasonable request by the defendant to adequately prepare his defense, including but not limited to access to discovery and funding for investigative services and expert witnesses. Respectfully submitted, Austin Drummond. Funding, I've never heard that. So he wants them to provide funding from the state of Tennessee taxpayers for investigative services and expert witnesses. I mean, it makes sense. And I'm assuming if you were going to represent yourself, I mean, yeah, I could see, seems logical. I don't know whether he'll get it, and they haven't made a ruling on it, but it's definitely very freaking interesting. I think it's the wrong move, dude. I got this document from As the Gavel Drops Discord. Hio, I know you're in here, and there's no way I can grab that link unless I go on my phone and spend 5 hours trying to grab it. So if you don't mind, please drop their Discord link in here. As the Gavel Drops Discord is really cool. It's just got a bunch of documents. If you know how to use Discord, you can go there and find documents for like all the cases. Really interesting, and a really good resource to have. Okay, so let's go into what happened most recently. Close out some of these tabs. Okay, we'll start with this one. Crystal said, he is crazy for representing himself. Shaking my head. What is he thinking now? Who fucking knows? He is in Tennessee, yes. Thank you for dropping that link. It is a death penalty trial, and they need time to prepare for that. and try to make sure he's represented. I mean, they're trying to keep him from getting the fucking death penalty. And he's just throwing all that out the window. Like, what the fuck is he thinking? No doubt, Tom. He went to the Sarah Boone School of Letter Writing. That shit was crazy. That fucking, like, it looked like a pageant request that she posted for a fucking lawyer. Thank you, Hannah UK. I must have missed the question, but she said the prosecutor is seeking the death penalty as of April 18th of 2026. It is crazy, isn't it, Gold Girl? All right, so this video is from 7 days ago.
Open your eyes, I hate you, mother.
Okay, that looks to me like Matthew Wilson's father, the man that has the baby. Custody of the baby right now. I'm going to slow that down so we can hear it a little bit better. That is the family of the victim speaking to Austin.
Open your eyes, I hate you, mother.
Something play and there will not be a criminal investigation. He said criminal investigation. The beeping is fuck, like cuss words like fucking.
Open your eyes, I hate you, mother.
I mean, you know, it is fucking quadruple homicide. Those people didn't deserve to die, no matter what. That's a lot of pain that man's dealing with. I personally think he had every right to do that. And he walked away willingly with the police and was escorted out. So, you know, he was still respectful.
Emotions running high today as accused murderer Austin Drummond testified before a judge this morning in Lake County. Drummond is charged with killing 4 people last July. He's pleaded not guilty. Today in court, the judge granted a change of venue. As Action News 5's Michaela Redmond explains, he also pushed back on Drummond's request to represent himself.
So he did push back on the request to represent himself. To be fair, if that had been me, and God bless that man for what he's going through, I've often said, I don't know how people can go to court with other people. Like, I would not be able to keep my hands off somebody. You wouldn't see it coming. I'd sit there and be real quiet and then all of a sudden snap and just be swinging. So thank God that, I mean, I know for a fact that I would have done that, if not worse. I mean, thank God the baby's alive, but it was just, it's a senseless crime, as most are. There's no reason for it.
Accused murderer Austin Drummond says he believes the trust is already broken between him and his attorneys. Drummond says there's evidence that's already gone and motions granted by the court that go against his wishes.
Trust takes time.
Now, Drummond believes he has no other option but to.
Why is, like, I know that there might be some kind of hit on his head through the gang affiliation. And I have to remember what gang it was, but why is he so adamant about he doesn't have a lot of time? He doesn't, like, he needs to hurry all this shit up. He doesn't have a lot of time. I mean, is it trying to get out of that one jail facility? He's already at the Tennessee Department of Corrections, and that's where he would go if he's charged. I mean, not if he's charged, if he's convicted. So what is the difference? Like, why is he so, I don't get it. Vice Lords, thank you so much, Hio. Yes, that's it. It's the Vice Lords. It wasn't Kings. It's the Vice Lords. And the Vice Lords is allegedly the gang that he was working for when they were doing the drone drops in the prison yard. And the other people that his co-conspirators that got charged are allegedly members of the Vice Lords as well. Gangster Disciples. I remember reading about that. Good praxis. And it's nice to see you. I remember reading about the Gangster Disciples, and I think they're somehow connected, like they were the Vice Lords, or it's an offshoot, like one is an offshoot of the other. But I remember it was Vice Lords that they mentioned specifically in the beginning. Maybe it's changed now. Thank you for that, both of you. Yeah, like, has he been threatened? I don't know. Basil Darks. I'll be a member of that gang.
Represent himself. It's still unclear if Judge Mark Hayes will let that happen, telling Drummond he doesn't think it's in his best interest, bringing up Drummond's lack of law education and the challenges with the death penalty case.
So remember, I was just saying that you don't ever represent yourself because you didn't go to school to be a lawyer. And it's like spitting in everybody's face in the courtroom saying that you just walked in up off the street, out of a fucking jail, as a matter of fact, and saying that you're intelligent enough to represent yourself. You don't do it. And they're kind of politely trying to say that you don't have the education. This is a death penalty case. Is he doing it so he can get a retrial? They might be. People like this idiot with Play-Doh, not a lawyer. Yeah. He chooses that life. He's going to have to deal with the consequences. Yep. Take away the fact he's saying he's a snitch. He killed a 15-year-old. He's lower than most in any facility because of that. Yeah. Yep. So he's got the name of child killer on his head too.
Case.
You would think that we would be excited about the fact they want to represent themselves because we may have an advantage, but that's not actually the case. We'd rather deal with an attorney.
Drummond also told the judge that if he represents himself and is found guilty, he would waive his rights to a sentencing hearing.
Conditions death row are much better than they would be with life in prison.
So he wants the death penalty, saying, quote, "The conditions on death row are much better than they would be with life in prison." So he's trying to get to death row so he's protected. Then why not just plead guilty? I guess because the judge entered a not guilty plea. Well, why not just plead guilty if you're trying to get on death row? I'll let you guys hear that again. He's speaking really soft. Like, I don't know if he's naturally soft-spoken or what.
Waive his rights to a sentencing hearing.
Conditions death row are much better than they would be with life in prison.
But you understand what a death sentence means.
Yes, sir.
The judge did grant.
If he just wants to be on death row and the death sentence, then why not just plead guilty and go ahead and do that? Man, like the DA was saying, this is a case that you would think they would want because he wants to represent himself. It's an easy win, but they're like, man, no, I'm not. I mean, you at least need a fighting chance. Like, they know he wouldn't even have a fighting chance if he does this. Good night, Hio. Have a good night, love. Right, exactly. Hio said, I will see you all later. Love your faces. I've got to dip for a while. Can't wait to see you again. I can't wait to see you again either, love. And thank you for being here.
The judge did grant a change of venue based on the size of Lake County and the publicity the case has garnered. But where is still unclear.
See, this is his attorney right now. And that attorney was requested by the judge specifically to represent Austin Drummond because he handles death penalty cases. Like, they had to get a special attorney to represent him that does death penalty cases. And that's what he has right now. The judge requested that just to make sure he's represented adequately. And here he wants to represent himself. He's throwing it all out the window. And they're trying so hard to be like, dude, no, please don't do this.
I think it would be best if we went to Middle or East Tennessee.
During all of this, emotions were running high.
Open your eyes whenever he says their name. Do you hear me? Open your eyes.
One of the victims, Matthew.
So this is Matthew's dad, I do believe, the one that has the grandchild. Now, it sounds like he said, open your eyes when he says their names. Do you fucking hear me? Open your fucking eyes.
One of the victims, Matthew Wilson, his father ended up detained and later fined $10. Wilson's.
Sorry, I missed that part. Hold on, let me back it up.
Running high.
Open your eyes whenever he says their name. Do you hear me? Open your eyes.
One of the victims, Matthew Wilson, his father ended up detained and later fined $10. Wilson's other family members brought his ashes inside of the courtroom as
I saw that they talked. The box says, in loving memory, those we love don't go away. They walk beside us every day. unseen, unheard, but always near, still loved, still missed, and every dear. I think it says every. Hold on. I'm going to see my forehead like jewelry. Joel Lee. I can't read that word in front of dear. Still missed and ERY. Very dear. Sorry, very dear. Okay, let me do that again. Those we love do not go away. They walk beside us every day, unseen, unheard, but always near, still loved, still missed, and very dear. I'm glad that they brought his ashes there so he could be remembered and represented, because his family is representing him and his daughter that they now have custody of. I wish there had been more from the mother's side, the Williams. The Wilsons were there, but the Williams were not. And it looks like she has wings on her shirt too. So I think they have on a shirt that's probably in memorial of Matthew. So they spoke, and we're going to hear part of that, I do believe.
Inside of the courtroom as they continue fighting for justice.
They're just gone. So, yeah, Matthew had a right to be here. You know, he's in the middle of all this unwillingly, and this is all we have left, so this is all we can bring.
Reporting at the Lake County Courthouse, Michaela Redmond, Action News 5.
DA Goodman says the judge will most likely rule on the self-representation motion before setting a next court date. Judge Hayes said he will work quickly to make that decision.
If I remember correctly, I think Austin Drummond said it was like he basically arrived on scene and they had already been shot. So it's interesting that he just wants to represent himself and be put on death row. But you were saying in the beginning that you didn't do it. So I don't know. Yeah, fine $10. That shows that the judge understood, and but you know, he's still like, hey, you know, you can't do that, but I get it. We have another. Yeah, this is the one I want. So I have another video of one of the family members speaking outside of the courthouse for us to watch. And then we will, not that one. Lord, you have mercy. This is the one I want. So this reads, quadruple homicide suspect Austin Drummond appeared in court on Friday. Yeah, I knew this was a video. I'm going to play this, and I'm going to do a poll in chat real quick to see what y'all want to talk about next. I don't know how long we'll be talking, but we will talk about another case. All right, so let's hear this because it looks like she speaks to the media.
Yeah, he has a right to be here too. So, yeah, is that it? How important, I know this was the first time you guys really brought him. How important was that for you guys, just, you know, as you guys continue to be here every single time to get justice for him?
I mean, it's the reality of it. And you know, there's a lot of publicity with this. There's a lot of stuff that's being put online, and this is the reality of what happened down there. We don't get to see our loved ones. My son's in a box. And there's 3 other people that are missing, and there's a very young baby that's without a big part of her family. And you know, every time we come, he's gonna see us every time he comes to court, and people need to see the reality of what he did, which is 3 people that had the rest of their lives ahead of them, including a 15-year-old, and they're just gone. Yep. So, yeah, Matthew had a right to be here. You know, he's in the middle of all this unwillingly, and this is all we have left, so this is all we can bring.
Can we expect to see him here more?
Yes, we sure can. We sure can. He'll.
It sounds like they're going to bring him every single time, which is important, I think. I'm doing the poll on the vertical side now. I think it's important that he be represented there. I just wish the Wilsons were, the Williams, were represented
every
too.
time we're here, as loud. You know, I don't know. Once the trial starts, if they'll allow something like that. But until then, yeah, he's coming every time.
Do you mind sharing your names with us?
My name's Kim Hamill. I'm Matthew's mom.
And I'm Haley Hippler. I'm Matthew's little sister. Can you guys just spell your name? HAILEYHEPLER.
And I'm KIMHAMIL.
I wonder how old she is. I mean, you know, she's now left without a big brother too. Thank God the baby was safe. Yes, the noise was me typing. How about the sickos in the cellar abusing those children? The case we covered at the beginning, I don't have a lot of documents on that. We can talk about that. The eye drops murderer, Daryl Brooks show. Also got Jessica Kashibi. Oh, okay. Yeah. Okay. Shaylin is well, the ones in the cellar. Oh, the Bibb County 7. I checked for documents on that before we came live, and there's nothing else out. I'll show you. Okay. So I've got to I gotta file a motion with Alabama, and I don't know if they're one of the states that won't let you get stuff if you're not from that state. All right, I feel like we have covered Austin Drummond enough. Where's my poll? Okay, nobody's voting over there. Do y'all want to talk about Upchurch, or do you want to talk about Shaylin? Yes, she does. Let me show you about the Bibb County 7 real quick. I need to submit a FOIA on it and see what I can get. I was going to talk about a person who committed 2 homicides 2 years apart. I mean, not 2 years apart, several years apart, but I went to go get my body cam this morning, and I had erased everything a while back because there wasn't a lot of room on my computer, and I had to resubmit the FOIA to get the body cam links again because I lost them. See, this is another case. This is my video that we did on it that pops up. Not many people covered it. It's not even pulling up anything. All of it's from 9 months ago. This one's from 4 months ago. 2025. This is all about voting in Bibb County. Yeah, I don't have any more information on that, unfortunately, but I'm going to submit a FOIA and ask them. You voted? Okay, let me see what you said. Hey, Rocky Mountain Hippie. I look forward to your playlist. I watch a few of the AD, and they are great. Well, thank you. I really appreciate that. Oh, yes. I didn't watch his first trial, but you want to talk about that? Hold on, let me pull this up real quick and see what y'all have said on the vote. Okay, so I got 67% said yes about Shaylin, and then 25% said they want to talk about Upchurch. 8% said no, they don't want to talk about either. Okay, we'll pull up Alec Murdaugh. The new trial from 9 days ago, and then we'll talk about Shaylin. Crystal Burns sent me a bunch on Shaylin. I need to submit a FOIA to try to get the documents. Try to pull documents on it today, but I haven't found anything. Let me grab my timestamp. I can't write with the damn pair of scissors now, can I? We are at 1:43. All right. So this is where's Buster Murdaugh now inside his life amid Dad Alex Murdaugh's new trial. Murdaugh's. So Buster Murdaugh was not in attendance on May 13 when Alex Murdaugh's double murder conviction was overturned. That is him in 2023. There's a lot to this case too. There was a boy that was, I think, dating Buster or his brother, and that boy died a mysterious death in the middle of the road. He was ran over, and it's like a cold case or something. There's a lot to this. They did a lot of shit because their family was generations and generations and going way back. They were all lawyers and judges in this town. A lot of corruption, in my opinion. So Buster Murdaugh's father, Alex, was convicted of the homicide of his wife, Maggie, and their other son, Paul, in 2023. Alex's double homicide conviction was overturned in May of 2026. Buster has also dealt with his own troubles, including being named in a 2019 wrongful death lawsuit concerning Mallory Beach. That wrongful death lawsuit has to do with, I think it was one of his friend's girlfriends, and she died on a boat. And he was allegedly driving drunk and was going way too fast and hit a bridge or something, if I remember correctly. I could be wrong. Don't run with that. So Buster Murdaugh has been thrust back into the spotlight after his father's double homicide conviction was overturned this month. Long prominent in their South Carolina community, the Murdaugh family has become the focus of national headlines in June of 2021 when Buster's mother, Maggie Murdaugh, 52, and brother Paul Murdaugh, 22, were shot and killed at Moselle, the family's 1,770-acre hunting estate. Are you fucking kidding me? 1,770 acres. In South Carolina. Yeah. That is some dirty money going way back, in my opinion. Okay, Julie, you have a good night. I hope you have a good day at work tomorrow. I hope it's easy and goes by fast. A friend of his brother, the one that got killed. So was it Paul's brother? Was it a friend of Paul or a friend of Buster? And it was like stated that they were allegedly, they would see each other and they would date each other or something, but they didn't want anybody to know. And then the boy ends up dead in the middle of the street. And it's like a cold case or something, if I remember correctly. Like, because it really upset me because the time period, and it seems like because of his sexual orientation, that had to do with the fact that he was killed, and he might have been killed in the middle of the road to keep him from speaking on his relationship with one of the Murdaugh boys. Yes, Stephen, that's his name. Yep, Rhonda, you're correct, Stephen. Lori said Buster supposedly was involved with the boy. He was beaten and left in the middle of the road for dead. Thank you. Yes. And then Pika said there are two portraits of the Murdaugh men, Alex's father and grandfather, in the courthouse there in that town. The family and power run super deep. Yep. Thank you. And that's what I'm thinking about, the pictures that goes back so far. I said generations and generations, but the Alex's father and then grandfather. So you got the grandfather, you got the father, you got Alex, who is on trial for committing the homicide of his wife and his son. And I think one of the boys he was going to be a lawyer, or like, I don't remember if he was going to school for it, or if the family just wanted him to, or what. All right. At the time, Paul was awaiting trial in connection with the 2019 boating death of a 19-year-old Mallory Beach. Okay, so I apologize for having it mixed up. It was Paul who was driving the boat, and he was drunk, and I think they hit under a bridge. Mallory Beach was the girlfriend of one of his friends that was on the boat, and she died at that time. The killings rocked Hampton, South Carolina, where the powerful Murdaugh family had practiced law for generations. Buster's father, South Carolina attorney Alec Murdaugh, was indicted in July of 2022, and prosecutors later alleged that he lured Maggie to Moselle before killing her and Paul near the property's dog kennels. Throughout Alex's 2023 homicide trial, Buster stood by his father, maintained his innocence, and testified in his defense. Alex was convicted in March of 2023 of murdering Maggie and Paul, but that conviction was overturned in May of 2026 with the court ordering a new trial. Still, the fallout from the deaths of his mother and brother and his father's legal saga has been devastating for Buster. Quote, Buster is collateral damage to his father's situation, unquote. A childhood friend of Buster's told People in 2022. Quote, I think he's developed this attitude of, I'm going to shut people out before they shut me out. His circle of friends got really small really fast, unquote. I don't think we need to go through all that. Buster stood by his father, maintaining his innocence during and after his trial. I want to know about the new trial. All right, let's go back. Here we go from 8 days ago. And we can watch a video. Let's watch a video. Let's watch a movie. Come sit.
Surprised that
Applesauce at the front of the class. This is on my computer, so hold on. We got to listen to an ad first. Maybe not. Da-dum.
Getting your new car is good. Keeping your new car thanks to stolen vehicle assistance.
I'm not surprised that the conviction was overturned. Communicating with jurors is really the cardinal sin. And here, Hill did more than that. She not only communicated with them, she commented on the evidence. She commented on the defendant's testimony. My name is Nima Rahmani.
So who is this woman that was communicating with the jurors? What did Southern say? I bet it was planned. The dead son was in a boat driving drunk, hitting a bridge. Yeah, thank you. You think it was planned? Which one? Which homicide? The clerk FA'd the FO'd. The clerk FA'd and FO'd on a technicality. Oh, you think it was planned, the technicality that gave him a new trial? Possibly.
A former federal prosecutor and the president of West Coast Trial Lawyers. Alec Murdaugh is a disgraced South Carolina personal injury lawyer who not only stole millions of dollars from his clients, but also killed his wife and son to allegedly cover it up. He was convicted at his murder trial and he pleaded guilty to the financial crimes. But today, the South Carolina Supreme Court unanimously overturned that conviction on two grounds. The first was that the court clerk, Becky Hill, engaged in inappropriate and unlawful communications with the jurors. On appeal, the defense argued that Becky Hill was trying to influence the jurors, and she had a financial motive to do so because she was writing a book about the case. And
oh, Jesus. Here we go with this shit again, just like in the Richard Allen trial with the fucking psychiatrist lady going on YouTube and YouTube chats and shit. Hell yeah, this shit was planned. Oh yeah, you won't convince me otherwise.
Her intent to influence the jurors actually resulted in her being criminally.
Hold on. Like I said, it's on my computer. If I had it on YouTube, we wouldn't have ads.
The wonders of the natural. Prosecuted for those comments by telling the jurors that she didn't believe Murdaugh was credible.
Awful.
Having those conversations, I was surprised the trial judge actually didn't order a new trial, and we had to go through this appeals process. The second reason the case was overturned was what we call 404B, or prior bad acts evidence. And we're seeing more appellate courts limit this type of evidence. So this is evidence of another crime or wrong that is brought into the case. Now here the prosecution said, well, it was evidence of Murdaugh's motive. That's why he killed his wife and son, to cover up his financial crimes. But the appellate court thought that it was too attenuated and it was really brought in to dirty up the defendant. Murdaugh is not going to be released because he's doing 40 years for the financial crime. So he's not going to be a free man. He's going to die one way or another in South Carolina State Prison. But he's always maintained that he might be a crook, but he's not a murderer. So he will get a new trial. And
so he's definitely getting a new trial.
That trial may happen as early as this summer, depending on the court's calendar. So expect the state to retry Alec Murdaugh. Not because it's going to result in any additional time. He's not a young man. And regardless of the murder conviction, because of the financial crimes, he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison. But because it's a murder case, and because there are two victims, I fully expect the state to move forward with a retrial. And this time, hopefully, they get it right. I think the prosecution strategy in the new trial is to be more narrow, really limit or even exclude a lot of the evidence of the financial crimes. Get a lot of people testify.
So why would they exclude the evidence of the financial crimes? Because he's already convicted of that and already going to spend life in prison on that. So they're going to keep it from this new trial as to not taint the jury with that information. Yeah, a crook. What is it that Nixon said? I don't remember. Something about a crook, but not a homicider. And Pika, I think it was brought up to the judge and she lied about it. And it wasn't until after the trial that it was proven that she lied. Interesting. Not to mention, how did the clerk of courts get that much access to the jury? Good question. Where was the bailiff that watches over the jury? I'm just saying. That should have been reported to the judge immediately. Absolutely, it should. That is a good question because that shit don't make any sense. Thank you for pointing that out. Judge knows better than just take the word and not look further or question the jurors about it. Weird all around, I will admit. Yeah, and I think it absolutely has to do with that he has ties to that area. I think they did take it a change of venue. I can't remember if they did a change of venue. It seems like they would have to from the area where he practiced law, but still. Hannah, thank you for that. The appeals court will hear oral argument September 21st of this year. Abraham said, the thing is, the financial crime should have never been brought up because it's a different independent crime, but the prosecution did it to prove motive. So that's a good point. Like, for instance, in the monster, what's her name? Oh, what is her name? The redhead girl. I can't remember her name right now. It just slipped my mind. But anyway, she had committed several homicides when she was a lady of the night in Florida. She started killing men, and they were not allowed to bring up other homicides in the homicide trial that she was on trial for. Thank you for that link, Hannah. I'm not a crook. Thank you, Lorianne. Yes, I am not a crook.
Including victims, accountants in the murder trial to really establish that motive. But now that the South Carolina Supreme Court has made it clear that that was inappropriate, expect to see a more traditional murder case
that was the Richard
focused
Allen
on the ballistics, the blood splatter, DNA, cell phone, cell site evidence, and not talking about how Alec Murdaugh ripped off so many people and there were so many victims. From the defense side, I think the strategy will be the same. Murdaugh insisted on taking the stand, and he testified in his own defense. And knowing who he is and how many cases he has handled himself as a lawyer, I expect that same strategy. So I think the second trial, once again, will really come down to, is Murdaugh believable? I think the jurors will know at a minimum that he's a convicted felon and fraudster, even though they won't know the underlying details of those financial crimes. But the question is he going to be able to convince them that even though he's a fraudster, he's not a killer? I'm not surprised that
will be interesting to see how that turns out. All right. Let me pull up my Gmail. We're going to pull up Gmail and we're going to pull up YouTube. I haven't had a lot of time to look into this case, but I've been sent a lot of information on it. And from what I've seen, it's absolutely horrendous. Allegedly, a stepfather did inappropriate things with his 16-year-old stepdaughter who went missing on May 2nd from Big Chimney in Kanawha County, West Virginia. Her name was Shaylin Harvey. She was 16 years old. James Truman, the stepfather, has been charged. I say Jay. There was a presser on this case from 8 days ago. All right, I'm going to pull this up. Okay. Sorry, got a weird email. Here, let me just go ahead and pull this up. I apologize. It was just weird. Shaylin Harvey. We're going to watch this video from Blunt Force Media. I think I have the actual presser, but it's right here, so we'll kind of get to know the case a little bit.
This is Deb Rusnick with the Prosecutor's Office and Sergeant Jeremy Burns with the Kanawha County Sheriff's Office. Just wanted to give everybody an update. Today, members of the Kanawha County Sheriff's Office executed a search warrant at the residence located at 355 Offutt Drive in Big Chimney, Kanawha County, West Virginia, in connection with the missing person investigation involving 16-year-old Shaylin Harvey. Since being reported missing on May 4th, 2026, detectives have been conducting interviews, collecting evidence, and following up on numerous leads, which ultimately.
So it says she went missing May 2nd. Did they wait 2 days to report her missing? Because that's what it sounds like to me. Let me show you a picture of her real quick. I'm going through my email now and trying to grab a few things for you guys. Let me play this.
Ultimately led investigators to obtaining a search warrant for the property. The search was conducted with the assistance of cadaver canine teams from the West Virginia Search and Rescue as part of the ongoing investigation. During the search, investigators did discover a female human remains on the property. The remains are in the process of being transported to the Office of the Chief Medical Examiner for positive identification and further examination. At this stage in the investigation, we're unable to release any information pending confirmation to the identity of the remains. I want to commend the work of our patrol division and Detective Bureau throughout this investigation. This is not the outcome anyone hoped for in a missing person case, but we hope this development may provide some measure of confidence. Additional information will be released as it becomes available and appropriate to do so. With that, we'll take a few questions. We can't answer a lot. This is on.
So the remains were found at her stepfather's house. Dang, I'm finding all kinds of stuff. We're going to watch this. This is from four weeks ago. Never mind. That's not the right one. That's a different case. Lord have mercy. Get it together, ma'am. All right. So this might be showing us where the human remains were found. Why do we have, we have no volume because it's off. Skirt. There we go. Excuse me, what? Okay, I'm just going to wait a minute and see if we have sound. WCH Eyewitness News. Let's go there. Bro, like the whole fucking everything is working against me right now. Like it was earlier today. Let's go to Facebook. Not Facebook, YouTube. We're going to watch this one, and then I'll find that one.
This evening, Kanawha County deputies say human remains have been found during the search for a missing teen. WSAZ's Luke Hamilton reporting now the remains have not been identified, but investigators went to a home today with a search warrant in hopes of finding 16-year-old Shaylin Harvey.
11 days after Shaylin Harvey was reported missing, deputies went searching in the Big Chimney area of Kanawha County for any sign of the 16-year-old.
Her last location.
So this is her.
That our last known was here at the residence on Offutt Drive.
Deputies looked around a home on Offutt Drive and several properties, leading to the discovery of unidentified remains.
During the search,
So sad.
investigators did discover a female human remains on the property. The remains are in the process of being transported to the office of the chief medical examiner for positive identification and further examination.
Numerous leads, collected evidence, and interviews ultimately led to this point in the investigation, and detectives say cadaver dogs were brought in to help with the search.
The search was conducted with the assistance of cadaver canine teams from the West Virginia Search and Rescue. I can tell you just during the investigation, there's factors that led them back to the property, and that's why the search warrant was applied for and granted.
Deputies say the remains have not been identified, but the search went on for several hours Friday in hopes of bringing comfort to those who know Shaylin Harvey.
This is not the outcome anyone hoped for in a missing person case, but
God bless her family and her friends. My goodness. And why? He's charged with incest and sexual abuse.
we hope this development may provide some measure of closure to the family and the friends.
In Kanawha County, Luke Hamilton, WSAZ.
All right. So this other website that seems to have a more or news station that seems to have a more extensive video on the case. It's called WCHS, not OS. This one. Let's see. I'm not going to be able to go back. I think most of them are from like 6 or 7 days ago. Oh, we need to talk about this Pink Panther too, briefly. Let's go back. Saw that Chad the Builder thing. I don't know what that's about. That's 12 days ago. Let's try this. I've still not pulled it up. All right. We're going to go to the trusty Google. And talk about the stepfather. His name is James Truman. Let me pull this up so y'all can see it. I don't know. That's a good question if they're stepbrothers. Okay. So it reads, tragic discovery of missing teen's remains identified after lengthy search. Let me turn my camera back on. A West Virginia resident is facing allegations of abusing his teenage stepfather just a fortnight before her body was discovered at their family home. James Truman, who is 52, was taken into custody on May 8th, shortly after his stepdaughter, 16-year-old Shaylin Harvey, was declared missing. The Kanawha County Sheriff's Office verified on Monday that Shaylin's remains were discovered on the premises of their Big Chimney, West Virginia residence the previous Friday. Although Truman has not been formally charged with Shaylin's death, he remains in detention facing charges of incest and sexual abuse by a person in a position of trust. Same thing Stephen Stearns was charged with, one of them. Reports from the sheriff's office indicate Shaylin was reported missing on May 4th, having last been seen 2 days prior near the location where her body was ultimately found. At the time, authorities speculated she might have entered a, quote, blue Dodge Ram pickup from the early 2000s, unquote. As the investigation into Shaylin's disappearance unfolded, police secured a search warrant for a property in Big Chimney. During a press briefing on Friday, covered by local CBS station WOWK, Kanawha County Chief Deputy Sean Snuffer disclosed that this was the residence Shaylin shared with her mother and her stepfather. The sheriff's office has confirmed the completion of an autopsy on Shaylin's body, though the cause of death has not yet been made public. Her death is currently being treated as homicide. According to digital court records, the charges of incest and SC sexual abuse against Truman are linked to an alleged incident that occurred around April 15th. Truman remains in custody at the Kanawha County Jail, where he's being held on a $100,000 cash bond. He has not been charged in connection with his stepdaughter's death. His case has been bound over to the Kanawha County Circuit Court as of Monday. His next court date is not immediately available. And there's a picture of that sick motherfucker. So I'm going to try to get the documents on that. I don't have them yet. That's why I didn't want to advertise it. Plus, I didn't know how far we would get. Hey, Jabba Queen. Good to see you. I'm back. Good to see you, Max. All right. And we're going to talk about this Pink Panther incident. And then I'm probably going to go for the night because I have to get the geese in. I think it's in Baltimore. Baltamore. Yeah, no, not that Pink Panther. That Pink Panther. Let me pull it up. I saw this and I was like, what the hell? What the hell? This is from 11 hours ago.
Well, the search continues for a strange character that has been seen dressed up in a furry pink costume and reportedly following around children. Today, police in Fredericksburg hung up flyers asking for information to help them find that person. The unusual nature.
So this man is a man in this Pink Panther costume. It was the first incident was that this man was standing outside at a bus stop where a few children got off the bus. The children saw him cross the street to the other side of the road, and this Pink Panther ran up and tried to grab them. One of the children got so close where he was trying to grab them that they could see it was a man inside of the costume. Nobody knows who this man is.
Of the case is drawing national attention, and parents say they're worried. Tom Rousey tells us more.
Here in Fredericksburg's Old Greenwich neighborhood, police have hung up flyers looking for this person who has a lot of people around here on edge.
Seen a person in a Pink Panther looking costume.
Russ Ray says he saw this person walking on Lafayette Boulevard in Fredericksburg last Thursday.
I thought that was a little bizarre, so.
The children that the Pink Panther tried to grab got a video of the Pink Panther, and that is the image you see where he's standing in front of a fence kind of looking at the camera. That video was taken by one of the children the Pink Panther tried to grab.
I shot a quick video, put it on TikTok saying, what's going on in Fredericksburg?
That video has now been viewed 1.5 million times. It was only later, though, that Russ learned police were looking for the person after reports that he was following children near their bus stop.
If this video can aid in any way to identify this person or, find out who it is, that would be great.
Local businesses tell me on Wednesday, police asked to hang up these flyers. The store
that picture right there was taken by one of the children he tried to grab.
Manager of this convenience store says the person, who she could tell was a man due to a tear in the mask, came inside and went to the wine section. When she and customers told him he had to take the mask off, he didn't respond at all, but eventually did leave. Others saw him too.
He had a bag on. He was just swinging it and just walking down the road, side of the road. It's just weird that someone is just, doing this, and it's just very scary, especially for kids.
It could be anybody.
Parents tell me they are very concerned.
I seen something on Instagram where people was making a joke of it, and that's not a joke, because what if a kid comes up missing, My son's bus stop is literally right across the street.
If you know anything that could help police find this person, you're asked to give Fredericksburg police a call. Reporting.
So that doesn't talk about the children at the bus stop. Let's see if we can find the one. Is this it? I think this talks more about it. Pink-clad creep accused of attempting to abduct Virginia school kids. So maybe it's on the Virginia Baltimore. I don't know. It says, I thought it was Baltimore. I apologize though, if I had that wrong. Parents in a Virginia neighborhood were left shaken after a man dressed in a bizarre pink costume allegedly chased a group of children walking home from the school bus stop and tried to grab a young girl in broad daylight. According to the New York Post, the disturbing encounter unfolded around 4:30 p.m. on May 14th in Fredericksburg, where witnesses said the costume suspect stalked children as they made their way through the neighborhood. Video from the scene showed the individual wandering along a grassy roadside in an outfit described by residents as resembling the Pink Panther character. One resident shared details of the frightening encounter in a Facebook post after the alleged incident. This is their post. Hey, Fredericksburg's friends and parents. Fredericksburg friends and parents. We had quite the scare yesterday. I don't want to keep putting there. Hold on a minute. It says, this man stared down my son and one of the older neighbors from across the road, Star Lafayette Boulevard. That's when this picture was snapped. He was walking towards Family Dollar, spotted them and walked back towards them and was standing, staring at them close to the intersection of Lafayette and Longstreet Avenue. Let me pull it back up. I have lost audio, but luckily I don't think we need audio. He looked like he wanted to cross, but could not because of traffic. When the bus came, it stopped traffic and he got the opportunity to cross Lafayette Street. When my daughter and a little neighborhood girl got off the bus and it drove away, he chased after all four kids and tried to grab the little girl who was the slowest. Her sister pulled her away and they got away. A car drove by them, which could have possibly scared him, and he turned and ran away. We drove around looking for him, asked everyone outside if they saw him. No one saw him. He just vanished. I made a police report. Transportation was notified this morning. School was notified also this morning, and an official report has been created. The kids say there was a hole in the costume near his eye. They said he looked like a man, had facial hair, and appeared to have a tan complexion. Just wanted to put out on everybody's radar that apparently we have a creep lurking around. It's one thing to look creepy, but what was his motives to reach out and attempt to grab a little kid? What if he got her? Keep your eyes open. If you see him, please contact the Fredericksburg Police Department. Edited to add more details about the man's appearance, location, and details. Thank you for reaching out and for your support. We appreciate everyone who has phoned with tips on sightings and possible leads for the police to pursue. An update. After receiving several tips on Friday, Fredericksburg Police Department called me at 10:20 p.m. on Friday night to make an official report. I was not aware that had not been done prior when I originally called in to make a report. I will be updated if and when the police have learned anything or know more. And then on May 18th, a detective was assigned the case this morning. My neighbor and I went and gave official statements shortly after. We were updated later in the afternoon that a press release would happen and they are investigating all the tips and leads. It's hard to go through all the posts and all the comments. So if something someone has said stuck out to you, please screenshot it and send it to me and I will forward it to the police. Thanks for your help. Please continue to call with sightings and tips about the suspect. This is traumatizing for the kids and everyone will feel safer when this guy is caught. And like I said, this is the picture that was taken by the children that he attempted to snatch, which is a scary situation. Yeah, now the fucking kids need pepper spray. It's a shame, ain't it? What this world is coming to. All right, y'all. What's going on? Forrest said maybe someone a few sandwiches short of a picnic. I know that's right. How bizarre. Da-na-na, da-na-na. It really is bizarre. Oh, hell no. Over here like...
What the helly? What the helly Yante? What the helly on? What the helly Barry? What the hell?
What the helly Barry? It is so creepy. All right, y'all. We have been going for like almost 2.5 hours, not over 2.5 hours. I do want to get more information on the Shaylin Chantel Harvey case. That case is new, as you could tell. I'm going to submit some FOIAs on that. I'm also going to submit some FOIAs on the first case we covered. I will put their hashtags in this video. I appreciate those of you who asked about the Austin Drummond case, and it was nice to do a timeline of that and go over the case again. I'm going to try to cover that trial if I can. Hopefully we will be able to for the most part. If not, we'll definitely go through the highlights of the trial. There's a lot going on in my real life. Children are doing sports and things like that. So I don't know if I can do trial coverage like we used to do back in the day. Hopefully we can. JR, remember, it's good to see you. Somebody knows who that costume belongs to, in my opinion. I'm sure they do, and I hope they speak out. I hope somebody says something and they get this guy before he gets somebody. Yeah, good night. Thank you all for hanging out with me. Thank you guys so much for the support. Thank you, Miss Scorpio, for being a member for 10 months. Abella said we're home. Yay! So good to see you. Abella's gifted not only 20, but 30 memberships. Thank you so much for that. That was so very sweet of you. And Forrest said subscribe, hit the like, share if you can, chat and comment. It all helps, and it's all free to do. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for sharing those milestones. Thank you for the support. It helps out tremendously. I was so glad to see you guys. So glad to hang out. Yes, I appreciate you guys listening and being here as we talk about true crime, especially this last case with this guy. Who know, you might know somebody who lives in the area. Just, it could, you never know where things like that's going to happen. So just be on the lookout for creepy freaking people. Mustang, yes. And thank you for letting me know it was Eileen Warnos that I was speaking about earlier. You too, Max. It's good to see you, sweetheart. All right, y'all. Have a good night. Yes, it was fun to see everyone again. And I hope y'all have a good night. Take care. Enjoy your Memorial Day weekend. We do have plans to spend time together as a family. So I will see you again soon. Probably after Memorial Day weekend. Like I said, I'm going to submit some more FOIAs, get some more information, more documents, and we will be back as soon as we can. As soon as I've got some more stuff to cover and talk to you about. Until then, y'all stay safe. And I will see you guys soon. Please know that you are important, you are enough, you are special, and you are very loved. And I'll see